If you're not prompted to create an account, you just want to click on New. And you're going to enter in the account name is for your benefit. If you have multiple accounts in there, then this will tell you which account that you're going to use. If you have multiple accounts, you can set one to be the default account, and that way it will assume that that's what you want to use unless you tell it otherwise. The sender name is what people will see on the emails they get from you, and the reply to determines which email address will be used when the receiver hits reply to email. The rest of the screens, the receiving screen and the sending screen, will need to be filled out based on who your email provider is. And we do have information about specific providers such as Gmail, AOL, Yahoo, GoDaddy. We recommend you take a look at the documentation section of the website for the email technical support. And if you have problems or questions, please email us at support@fasttracker.biz and we'll help you with your specific email setup. Once you've entered in your settings, click Done, and now that information will be in the system. Now that the basic settings are in place, we can go on to use FastTracker to enter in our contact information. In order to add a contact, we just go to the Contact module and hit the green plus sign. This will give us our first record. If we look up here, we can see that we've just created one record. We now have one record in the system. Each contact will be their own record. I like to start with my own record. I'm pretending to be Bugs Bunny today. That way I have the ability to send templates or other emails out to this record as a sample record. So you'll want to go through and fill out as much or as little of this information as you have. The other way to get contacts into the system is by exporting from Office in Motion and importing into FastTracker, so you do not have to manually enter each of your clients. As you enter information into FastTracker, you'll notice that there are places where there are some down arrows. That just provides you with a list of options. And if there is an edit option at the bottom, then you can click on that and you can modify what options show up on this list. This does not change any of your pre-existing information. This only changes the options that are available to you from this point forward. If I hit OK, come back here, you'll see that only those options are there. If I want to add a new one, then I can click Edit, type that in, and that information will be there as well. And I can copy, paste, move things around here just like I can a word processor. And that changes my list moving forward. So go ahead and go through and fill out as much information as you have. On the phone numbers, there's two fields here. The first one is letting you know what kind of phone it is, if it's a home phone or a work phone. And the second one allows you to enter in the phone number itself. If you have multiple phones for a contact, then you'll want to use these arrows to designate which phone is the primary phone. And you just press the arrow. We see right now that the work phone is at the top. Once I push that arrow, then the mobile phone is at the top, and that is the phone that will show up by default on various reports. Another feature I'd like to point out to you, since it just popped up as well, is if I hold my mouse over a particular button, I'm going to get tooltips. Press arrows to move primary phone number to the top of the list. So this is another help feature that if you just hang out over a button for a minute without pressing, then tooltips will show up, giving you slightly more information. For each contact, you can also enter in one or more contact types. Again, this list can be edited, just like we saw with the referred by list, so you can customize this to your specific needs. And also designate a contact as active or inactive. I'm going to say they are active. If there's no X there, then they are inactive. You also have the ability with the Contact module to replicate the folder system. So I can put this client into a folder. And if you're not sure what the folders mean, if you click on the question mark, you'll get a list of what the folders mean. And now if I go over to my folders module, I can see for Bugs Bunny a replication of what is on the physical folders that you have. And I can go through and check these off. It'll do things, for example, like when I hit the mail welcome packet, marked it off on my overview and entered today's date, which I can then go in and modify if I'd like to. So if you prefer to work with the folder system, you can replicate that within Fast Tracker as well. The other thing you have for each contact is an area to keep track of task or action items. This is also a historical area to keep track of what has happened. You'll also have the ability to create a client profile, which we will go into in a different module. You can enter in notes for a client, so you can just have one giant note field where you can enter information in, and then you can find those notes and filter through it and have them highlighted for you as well. You can also track orders for each client. We'll be going into these in more detail in future modules. For right now, we're just going to look at task. The task section is multi-purpose and can be used to store all correspondence you have with a client, such as outgoing and incoming emails or phone calls. And it also allows you to create ticklers for yourself to let you know that you need to contact a client on a particular date. So the most basic of tasks can be